legislature actually passed some restriction. And that was in direct response.
High-risk group. 18-year-old UCF student Aiden Chin says he thinks owning guns at his age is inappropriate.
I don't think it's appropriate for us to be able to own guns at this age. We don't really know ourselves yet, and I think if we made it at least 21, we
21, claiming it as unconstitutional. NRA attorney John Sweeney argued that 18-year-olds in Florida don't enjoy the same freedoms enjoyed by other adults in the amendment. They wrote that people ages 18 to 20 are a
Coming up on UCF Nightly News, find out about the 60-day legislative session that is currently taking place.
Plus, we'll tell you more about how the hospitality industry is experiencing labor shortages and how economists predict similar patterns for years to come.
Later, see what a UCF researcher has discovered about the Philippines.
In sports, we'll introduce you to a men's varsity bowling club team member.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Jackie Cardentey.
And I'm Kayla Ayala. Today is Friday, March 10th, 2023.
Lawmakers from the state are gathering for Florida's legislative session, now taking place for the next 60 days. A number of bills are on the forefront for the Republican-dominated legislature. Some of these key issues include education, gun control, abortion rights, and tax relief. Polls predict that Governor Ron DeSantis is anticipated to run for president in 2024, despite no official announcement from his office.
Amongst points of debate in the legislature session is a proposal to lower the minimum age of purchasing a firearm. Nightly News reporter Abigail Lafferty tells us more about what Floridians could expect if this bill passes.
Republicans Bobby Payne and Tyler Soroy filed the proposal as part of the annual 60-day legislative session that began on Tuesday. This proposal will change the minimum age to purchase a rifle or long gun from 21 to 18 years old in the state of Florida. UCF political science professor Aubrey Jewett talks about why in 2018 the age was changed to 21.
After the shootings, murders at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, the legislature actually passed some restrictions on gun ownership.
One of the things that was passed stated that 18 to 21-year-olds could not purchase a long gun or rifle.
And that was in direct response to the 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz.
The NRA had filed a lawsuit against the law that made the minimum age 21, claiming it as unconstitutional. NRA attorney John Sweeney argued that 18-year-olds in Florida don't enjoy the same freedoms enjoyed by other adults in this country in regard to the Second Amendment. In a document filed in district court, attorneys for the state wrote that people ages 18 to 20 are a particularly high-risk group. 18-year-old UCF student Aiden Chin says he thinks owning guns at his age is inappropriate.
I don't think it's appropriate for us to be able to own guns at this age. We don't really know ourselves yet, and I think if we made it at least 21, we'd have some more time to get to know ourselves, have some more time to make less rational decisions, and mature a little bit more.
As of Thursday, the U.S. Appeals Court upheld the current Florida law. However, it has been noted that the measure would be reconsidered by the legislature. In Orlando, Abigail Lafferty, UCF Nightly News.
The 60-day legislative session will end on May 5th.
Another bill being introduced during the legislative session would ban abortions at 6 weeks. If the bill is passed, it would make performing abortions after 6 weeks a third-degree felony. Penalties include serving a sentence of up to 5 years in prison. It also states that exceptions can be made for women who are victims of rape or incest, where an abortion can be performed up to 15 weeks with evidence of the crime. In addition, abortions can be performed in extreme emergencies under this bill, but these emergencies would require 2 physicians to sign off on performing the procedure. This comes after Governor Ron DeSantis signed legislation in April of 2022, banning abortions of up to 15 weeks right after the overturn of Roe v. Wade.
The Florida Department of Health has issued a red tide advisory on the West Coast for all beaches in Sarasota County and a no-swim advisory for Bird Key Park in Sarasota. Florida's southwest coast has been affected by the red tide over the last week, and the advisories in effect are expected to last through March 17th. The red tide is a harmful algal bloom that is found exclusively in the Gulf of Mexico. The tide produces toxins that can cause skin irritation and respiratory issues in humans and can fatally affect the nervous system of fish and animals. The Florida Department of Health advises to stay away from waters that have an active bloom present and to monitor beach conditions before heading out this spring break.
During the State of the State address, DeSantis highlighted some successes from his time as governor and laid out what he plans to continue to do for the state of Florida.
Together, we have made Florida the nation's most desired destination, and we have produced historic results. But now's not the time to rest on our laurels. We have the opportunity and indeed the responsibility to swing for the fences so that we can ensure Florida remains #1.
Although he has yet to announce his 2024 presidential campaign, polls also show he could be rivaling against Donald Trump for the Republican candidate spot.
Recent data released from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce shows that Florida has over 600,000 available jobs and over 200,000 unemployed workers. Nightly News reporter Rachel Clark tells us why this is driving the current labor shortage.
Labor shortages have continued to impact the nation ever since the COVID-19 pandemic began in 2020. According to data collected by the United States Chamber of Commerce, the worker shortage index is falling fast.
We don't have enough workers to fill the available jobs that are out there.
Jenna says that one of the biggest things impacting the labor shortage currently is a term that has been coined as the Great Resignation. This became a popular trend among underpaid, overworked, and underappreciated employees, primarily in the hospitality industry. UCF students like Jasmine Camacho say they have experienced this firsthand.
I wasn't getting paid the amount of work that I was putting in.
Nearly 6 million people in the United States are currently unemployed. That includes students here on UCF's campus.
Other students like Afif Mahmoud say they understand why people in this industry are choosing a different path.
People in hospitality do so much, and they don't get paid with their worth, and so I think that's why it's not as lucrative or encouraging for people to go that route.
The Chamber of Commerce's labor shortage map has identified 6 key findings that have helped to classify Florida as most severe. This includes job openings, available jobs, the number of unemployed workers, labor force participation, quit rate, and hiring rate.
I think it's a great market to be looking for a job right now because there are so many job openings and the ability to kind of move up faster is there.
Labor shortages are predicted to continue for years as the nation battles with rising inflation, layoffs, and unemployment. In Orlando, Rachel Clark, UCF Nightly News.
To learn more about labor shortages in the United States and how they impact Florida, visit uschamber.com.
Tomorrow marks 3 years since COVID-19 outbreak that was declared a pandemic by the World Health Organization. Some doctors are searching for symptoms that occur after COVID. Doctors in San Diego are looking into a condition called POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which usually affects women after having COVID. UC San Diego health doctor Pam Taub is investigating a rise in post-COVID POTS.
A lot of people are dismissed as having anxiety or a psychological disorder because people are not aware of POTS.
Taub says they have known for many years that POTS can occur after various viral illnesses. Treatment for POTS include a combination of lifestyle strategies along with medication.
The Sunshine Protection Act, a bill that was first introduced in 2021, would permanently extend daylight savings time to last the whole year. Senator Marco Rubio reintroduced this bill in March of 2022. It then passed the Senate. However, this measure has not been passed by the U.S. House of Representatives, and it has not been signed by President Biden. And when it comes to Florida's change, a change in the federal statute is required. So don't forget, we spring forward this Sunday at 2 a.m.
Nightly News weather anchor Caitlin Simpson now joins us. Hi, Caitlin. I don't know about you guys, but was it just me or did we feel a little bit of a cool breeze outside this afternoon?
I agree with you, Jackie. I've really been enjoying the weather this past week. So, Caitlin, how long will these nice temperatures stick around?
You would be right, Jackie. After a week of blazing hot temperatures, they are finally cooling down to the usual temperatures we see in spring. Currently, we're at a crisp 82 degrees outside with 66% humidity. It has been windy the last few days, but currently wind speeds dropped to 7 miles per hour, moving north-northeast. Current rain chances are at 20% as a cold front is expected to move through Florida today. If you're going to the beach for spring break, National Weather Service says there is currently a high chance of rip currents throughout the coastlines.
Well, Caitlin, thank you so much. Coming up after the break, find out about how the UCF Department of Emergency Management recently tested the UCF alert system.
Plus, find out more about Neurodiversity Celebration Week and how the Multicultural Student Center is raising awareness. We'll be right back.
increase security on campus, UCF routinely checks their alert system in the event of an emergency. The system notifies those enrolled of an emergency situation on campus. UCF Nightly News reporter Caitlin Simpson has more on what the UCF Alert is and what students should know about it.
Submitted across campus earlier this week as part of the university's semesterly test of the UCF Alert system. UCF Alert is a multimedia communication system that provides information about emergency situations that may impact the university.
The UCF Alert system is really just a notification tool that we can use as a university to help keep our students, employees, and visitors safe.
In the event of an emergency situation on campus, a notification is sent to students, faculty, and staff through their text messages, email, and UCF mobile app. A siren that emits a tone followed by voice instructions is also broadcasted by a speaker system both inside and outside over 70 buildings.
Many students were shocked to hear the alert system broadcast across campus, especially right here at Memory Mall.
It's always usually a text for me. I've never heard an alarm or anything.
Despite prior notice of the testing through email and social media, some students did not think they were prepared for the alerts.
I was like, what am I supposed to do when the alarm comes on, you know? I was sitting right there and I was like, if this was real, where am I supposed to go? Go to the garage and run?
According to UCFPD's website, all students, faculty, and staff are automatically enrolled into the UCF Alert system to ensure proper safety precautions are followed in the event of an emergency.
Make sure that you're aware of what's going on. If something's happening on campus, you don't want to go. We don't want to have anyone go into a harmful situation. It really just in an effort to keep everyone safe.
Now, the Department of Emergency Management will review the campus response to the alert and make improvements where necessary. In Orlando, Caitlin Simpson, UCF Nightly News.
The EOC wants to remind students to update their contact information so that they can properly receive notifications in a timely manner. To learn more about the UCF alarm system, visit police.ucf.edu/UCF Alert.
One UCF professor has conducted research in the Philippines for nearly 30 years. Here's what he's learned. Ty Madiowski has taught anthropology here at UCF since 2002. His research focuses on the many ways in which a nation's consumption and production of food is heavily shaped by factors like globalization. He says an interesting cultural difference he's observed is in the use of Spam.
It's really interesting to see although it's the same product, how we invest so many different meanings in it.
In America is viewed as a food of last resort, but in the Philippines it's seen as the equivalent of steak. In recent years, he has published 2 books about these topics. He is currently working on his next.
Neurodiversity Celebration Week starts next week and runs until March 19th. UCF's Multicultural Student Center, also known as the MSC, is hosting workshops to promote neurodiversity awareness. The National Cancer Institute defines neurodiversity as a term used to describe the natural variations in how people's brains work. About 15 to 20% of the world's population exhibits some form of neurodiversity. Palin Ozolu is a member of the Multicultural Leadership Council who led one of the workshops.
Since this is a campus of 70,000 people, I think there's a lot of people that can relate to some type of neurodiversity, whether it be on a minor spectrum versus a major spectrum.
Learn more about the neurodiverse community by attending workshops conducted by the MSC. You can find these workshops on their Instagram at MSC_UCF. Now, coming up after the break, I'm just so excited. Spring break is finally coming. Meteorologist Caitlin Simpson will tell us about what the weather will be like for the time off.
Plus, see how the UCF Racing Club is preparing for their upcoming competition.
We'll have more for you coming up in just a couple of minutes.
We can't say meteorologist because I don't have a meteorology degree.
so nice out lately. A lot of sunny skies, a nice breeze. It honestly makes me wonder if we have officially entered spring just in time for spring break.
Speaking of spring break, it is starting tomorrow for UCF students. Tell us, Caitlin, can students expect some warmer weather ahead, or will it be a cooler break?
I, for one, am so excited for spring break, and the temperatures seem to be in agreement right now. Currently, for our highs, we have a high of 77 in Tallahassee. Jacksonville is sitting at a nice 80 degrees, Tampa 82, Orlando 84, and down in Miami it is 81 degrees. Now, we have a cold front that's making its way currently through the state of Florida. Right now it is positioned right over Tallahassee, as the low right now is 61 degrees, but as that moves forward, it will get cooler throughout the day. Jacksonville's right now currently is going to have a low of 64, Tampa is a low of 63, and Orlando is going to have a low of 59, and Miami for 68. Now for our 5-day forecast. So as that cold front moves in, that rain chance is going to increase just a tad more, and then it's going to leave us to be a little bit warm or cooler on Saturday and Sunday with a mid to lower 80s. Now Monday is where that really interesting comes in, because a stronger cold front comes in, increasing that rain chance to 70%. And after that, we have so much cooler temperatures ahead with 68 degrees and 67 degrees for Tuesday and Wednesday. Lows may drop into the 40s on Wednesday, which is just going to be overall great time for spring break. I am truly excited, especially for these weather conditions. Back to you guys.
Caitlin, thank you so much for that update. It's really exciting for spring break.
Now let's check in with our partners at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Meteorology minor Danielle Van Pelt shows us what's happening across the nation.
Thank you so much for having me, everyone. My name is Danielle Van Pelt, and atmospheric river storms are back. These storms are really unique because they do contain a lot of moisture and get pushed by the jet stream, really impacting the state of California. Cities such as Fresno and the Santa Maria area are going to be especially impacted, 40% chance of flooding for those areas. These storms are going to create lots of rainfall for the lower elevations of the state and overall impacting the whole state. But keep in mind, Fresno and Santa Maria are especially going to get impacted, over 10 inches of rain for those areas. However, higher elevations within the state are going to see some snow, such as Northern California, and states such as Oregon and Idaho. The areas shaded in purple here, meaning we're going to see at least 2 feet of snow for those areas. Now let's just bring it back home to Florida. A cold front is on the way, going to bring us some moisture, some rain, so no more droughts. And it's going to start cooling off our temperatures just a tad. So if you were planning on hitting the beach this weekend, you may want to consider doing some indoor activities instead.
Thanks, Danielle. After the break, we talked to a member of the UCF Bowling Club who has made a significant impact on the team this year.
We show you who he is coming up after the break.
Good afternoon, Night Nation. I'm Adriana Arcomone, and this is your weekly UCF Sports Update. The bowling team is just one of the many club sports here at UCF that they have to offer. Nightly News reporter Kayla Lewis tells us more about the only freshman that made the men's varsity team this year.
Zachary Bice has been bowling since he was 2 years old, just like his parents did when they were younger. Ever since then, bowling has become his favorite thing to do with his free time. He competed in his first ever competition only 10 years later.
My first ever tournament that I bowled in, like a competitive tournament, was 12. We bowled in a state tournament, which I ended up placing pretty well in myself. So I've always been pretty above average, in my opinion, at my young age of bowling. So it's been pretty good.
After competing in tournaments his whole life, he came to UCF to continue doing what he loves, making the varsity team as only a freshman, which is rare.
The bowling club varsity team is gearing up for their biggest tournament of the season, sectionals. This is where the only freshman on the team, Zach, is looking to strike out his competition in both the individual and team events.
Bice's teammate Josh Alonzo says that Bice has been a great asset to this team's growth.
Zach has been not only the most reliable, but he's just been like the hallmark poster boy of our growth. He's helped us, gain podium spots.
Head coach Danny Gould says that Bice's years of experience has helped to set an example for other bowlers to reach a varsity level.
Zach's brought a lot of years of experience where most of the bowlers haven't had the depth that he has.
Bice has already accomplished a lot this year at UCF.
I've placed second twice, so I made all-tournament team 3 times now, so overall it's been pretty impressive on my end. I'm pretty impressed with myself. I feel very accomplished with my year so far, so it's been pretty good.
Bice plans to continue bowling with the team for the remainder of his time at UCF. In Orlando, Kayla Lewis, UCF Nightly News.
Varsity team hopes to advance to nationals, which Zach can also do individually. UCF Knights Racing Formula SAE is getting ready to rev up its engine for the biggest competition of the year. Formula is working on its build for the upcoming competition in Michigan this May. Formula works with Formula One combustion engine style builds. These student engineers start from scratch and build it all, from seat and seatbelt installment down to every last nut and bolt, making sure everything fits and runs smoothly.
We designed a scaled-down Formula One car every year. We take the car to our competition in Michigan, which is in May, and we compete against 120 other universities from around the world.
Members often work late into the night preparing for their upcoming competition. Different partners each work on different projects like frame building. If you want to find out more about Knights Racing Formula and their upcoming competition, you can visit their Instagram at ucf.formula. That's all the time I have for you guys. Back to you, Jackie and Kayla.
Thank you so much, Adriana. Now that's all the time we have for right now. Thanks for joining. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our Instagram, nightlynews.ucf.edu.
And if you've got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@ucf.edu. Thanks for watching and have a good day.